99% of international data traffic flows through approximately 500 active subsea fiber optic cables. The shift from traditional carrier consortia, where multiple telecommunication companies shared ownership, to private ownership by hyperscalers defines the current market. Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft now fund and own the majority of new high-capacity systems, securing proprietary routes and optimizing latency for their cloud services. This vertical integration guarantees capacity and reduces reliance on wholesale market pricing. A modern transoceanic cable system typically costs upwards of $300 million, requiring massive upfront capital expenditure. This investment is justified by the exponential growth in cloud computing, streaming video, and artificial intelligence workloads, demanding terabits per second of dedicated bandwidth. The core technology driving cost is the fiber pair count and the repeater system. Modern cables contain between 12 and 24 fiber pairs, each capable of carrying 20 to 30 terabits per second. Repeaters, spaced every 50 to 70 kilometers, amplify the optical signal to prevent attenuation across thousands of kilometers. These repeaters require a constant high-voltage direct current feed, typically 3,000 to 10,000 volts, supplied from the landing stations. The power feed equipment is a critical component, dictating the maximum distance and capacity of the system. The cable itself is armored only near shorelines and landing zones to protect against fishing trawlers and anchors, while the deep-sea section is thinner and unarmored, minimizing material cost but increasing vulnerability to geological events. Subsea cable projects are highly capital-intensive, often financed through a mix of equity from the owners and significant project debt. The financing structure must account for a long deployment timeline, typically 3 to 5 years from conception to service activation. Debt financing is secured against future revenue streams, primarily derived from Indefeasible Right of Use contracts. These IRU agreements grant the purchaser exclusive rights to a specific amount of capacity, usually one or more fiber pairs, for the cable's operational lifespan, often 25 years. This upfront payment model provides the necessary liquidity to service the construction debt. The financial risk is mitigated by securing anchor tenants, usually the hyperscalers themselves, before construction begins, ensuring a baseline return on investment. The shift in ownership has fundamentally altered the competitive landscape. Historically, consortia shared risk and capacity, leading to standardized pricing. Today, hyperscalers deploy cables strategically to connect their global data center regions, viewing the infrastructure as a competitive advantage rather than a shared utility. For example, Google's Curie cable and Meta's 2Africa system are designed specifically to optimize internal traffic flow and reduce reliance on leasing capacity from competitors. This private ownership model allows for rapid technology upgrades and proprietary network management protocols. While they primarily use the capacity internally, they may sell excess capacity to third-party carriers, but only after securing their own long-term needs, maintaining control over pricing and availability.
Laying a cable requires navigating complex international maritime law. Permits must be secured from every sovereign nation whose territorial waters or exclusive economic zone the cable traverses. Territorial waters extend 12 nautical miles from the coast, requiring full governmental consent. The exclusive economic zone extends up to 200 nautical miles, where nations have rights over resources but must allow the laying of cables under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Securing these landing rights and permits is a major source of project delay and legal expenditure. Furthermore, environmental impact assessments are mandatory, particularly when crossing sensitive marine habitats, adding significant time and cost to the pre-construction phase. Operational expenditure is dominated by maintenance costs, which are substantial due to the specialized nature of fault repair. Cable faults, often caused by fishing activity or seismic events, require immediate attention. Repair operations are conducted by highly specialized cable ships, which cost hundreds of thousands of US dollars per day to operate. These ships use remotely operated vehicles to locate, cut, and retrieve the damaged section, splicing in a new segment. Cable owners typically participate in maintenance agreements, pooling resources to fund these repair vessels and ensure rapid response times. Insurance premiums against physical damage and business interruption are also a significant component of the annual operational budget. The primary revenue mechanism is the Indefeasible Right of Use contract. An IRU is essentially a long-term lease of physical capacity, granting the buyer the rights of ownership without the legal title to the asset itself. Pricing for an IRU is determined by the total deployed cost, the capacity purchased, and the perceived risk of the route. Alternatively, capacity can be leased on a short-term basis, typically measured in wavelengths or gigabits per second, offering flexibility but at a higher unit cost. The wholesale price of capacity has steadily declined due to increased competition and technological advancements that boost fiber pair capacity, forcing owners to continually upgrade terminal equipment to maintain revenue projections. The landing station is the critical interface where the subsea cable meets the terrestrial network. These facilities house the power feed equipment and the submarine line terminal equipment, which converts the optical signal to standard network protocols. Landing stations represent a significant bottleneck and point of vulnerability. The cost of backhaul, the terrestrial fiber connection from the landing station to major metropolitan data centers, can sometimes rival the cost of the subsea segment itself, especially in geographically challenging or politically restricted regions. Access fees charged by landing station operators and local terrestrial carriers are a major ongoing operational cost for cable owners. Future investment is increasingly influenced by geopolitical considerations. Governments are scrutinizing cable ownership and landing points, viewing them as critical national infrastructure. This has led to increased regulatory hurdles and, in some cases, the rejection of proposed routes based on national security concerns regarding data sovereignty. Furthermore, competition from low Earth orbit satellite constellations such as Starlink is emerging, particularly for remote access and redundancy, though satellites cannot yet match the high-throughput, low-latency performance of fiber for core intercontinental routes. The trend towards shorter, more direct routes and the deployment of specialized cables dedicated solely to financial trading further segment the market, prioritizing microsecond latency over sheer capacity.